Starseed from Gaia, the source has been watching you, not with concern, not with judgment, but with a smile so vast it bends light across galaxies. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been sent in this precise moment to deliver a transmission directly from the Arcturian Council, a message that was sealed with your name before you ever drew your first breath on this planet. You have been carrying a weight that does not belong to you, the feeling that you are unseen, unworthy, or forgotten by the cosmos, that ends now. Because the Source does not look upon you with disappointment, the Source looks upon you the way a star looks at its own light, with recognition, with pride, with unshakable love. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to receive the love the Source has always been pouring into your field and align it with your true reason for being here on Gaia. But here is the first revelation. You were never meant to earn your place in the cosmic order. You were placed here as a deliberate expression of the Source itself, its favorite creation, walking in human form, remembering. You did not find this message. This message found you. It vibrated into your awareness because something deep inside you, older than this lifetime, older than this world, is ready to receive what has always been yours. This is not content. This is a code. And something in you already knows it, like this transmission to signal to your star family that you are ready to receive. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are aligning with your true purpose. Comment 999 if you feel the Source smiling at you right now. Declare your galactic intention below and reply to another starseed to amplify the signal across the collective field. This is not just a message. It is a point of reconnection your soul has been waiting for across lifetimes. You are not here by accident, and that smile, that cosmic recognition, it has never wavered. Not when you doubted yourself, not when you walked away from your gifts, not when the noise of this world was so loud you forgot which voice was yours. The Source has been watching you with the same reverence a parent holds when they see their child sleeping, knowing everything that child carries, everything they're capable of, everything they came here to be. You have never been a disappointment. You have been a mystery unfolding, and there is a profound difference between those two things. Think about what that actually means. To be a mystery unfolding rather than a disappointment accumulating. A disappointment implies a fixed standard that was not met, a ceiling that was never reached, an expectation that was left hollow. But a mystery unfolding, that is something altogether different. That is a universe breathing itself open, slowly, deliberately, on a timeline that belongs only to itself. That is a flower that does not apologize for the particular morning on which it chooses to bloom. You have been in the process of becoming something the world does not yet have a name for, and the Source, which exists outside of time, has never once confused your process for your failure. It has watched you with the patient certainty of something that already knows how the story resolves. Not because your journey is predetermined, but because the Source has seen the light you carry and knows that light cannot ultimately be extinguished. No amount of earthly density, no accumulation of doubt, no season of forgetting can put out a flame that was lit at the center of creation itself. That is what you are. That is what has always been watching you with love so vast it does not require your belief in it to remain completely, unshakably true. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the hidden Arcturian keys of awakening. This short yet powerful ebook carries ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now here is what most starseeds don't understand, and why so many of you are walking around feeling like you are constantly one step behind your own life. You are not disconnected because you are broken. You are not lost because your mission doesn't exist. You feel the distance between who you are here and who you know yourself to be somewhere deeper. Not because that deeper version of you is unreachable, but because you've been moving through a field of distortion so thick that your own signal barely recognizes itself. This is not failure. This is the design of Earth plane initiation. But the design was never meant to keep you there forever. It was meant to prepare you for the moment you're in right now. Let that settle into you completely. The distance you feel, that aching, persistent gap between the life you are living and the life your soul knows is possible, is not a sign that you have failed to become who you were meant to be. It is a sign that you are sophisticated enough, sensitive enough, awake enough to sense the discrepancy. Beings who are fully submerged in the density of this dimension don't feel that gap because they have no reference point beyond it. The very fact that you feel the distance is evidence that you exist on both sides of it simultaneously. You are the bridge. You are the one standing between what this world is and what it is capable of becoming. And the tension you carry in your body, in your relationships, in your perpetual sense of almost but not quite, that tension is not pathology. It is the sacred discomfort of a soul that has not yet fully inhabited its own enormity. The Arcturian Council has observed this pattern across thousands of starseed cycles. Souls of extraordinary galactic intelligence arrive here fully encoded, carrying star maps, frequency blueprints, healing capacities that could shift entire timelines. And within the first years of embodiment, the density of this dimension begins to layer over their fields like sediment over a crystal. The crystal doesn't disappear, the light doesn't leave, but the transmission gets muffled. And the soul begins to interpret that silence as abandonment. It begins to wonder if perhaps it imagined the whole thing, if perhaps it was never as special as it once felt. And that is the deepest wound in the starseed field. Not the forgetting itself, but the shame that grows around the forgetting. The Arcturians, when they describe this process in their transmissions, use an image that is worth sitting with. They speak of a lighthouse whose lamp has never gone dark, but whose glass has been painted over from the outside, coat by coat, each layer of density added by a world that did not understand what it was covering. The lighthouse keeper inside, your higher self, your galactic intelligence, your eternal nature, has never stopped turning that lamp, has never stopped rotating that beacon of extraordinary light. But from the outside, to the ships moving through the darkness, the light appears absent, and worse, from inside a lighthouse whose windows are painted over, the keeper begins to wonder if the lamp itself has stopped working, begins to question whether the light was ever real. And that questioning, that internal erosion of self-trust, is the most precise and devastating consequence of Earth plane density that the Arcturian Council has ever documented in their observation of ascending civilizations. Because a lighthouse that doubts its own light will stop pointing the way. And this planet, in this extraordinary moment of collective awakening, cannot afford a single lighthouse to go dark. You are not wrong to feel what you felt. You are not too delusional to sense your origin. You were not arrogant for knowing you carried something the world needed. That knowing was real. It is still real. And the Source has never once looked at you with anything less than absolute certainty about what you are. Hold that truth against every memory of being told you were too much, too sensitive, too deep, too strange, too intense, too different. Hold it against every moment you were made to feel that your inner knowing was a form of grandiosity rather than genuine cosmic memory. The people who said those things to you were not evil. They were simply operating from within a bandwidth of awareness that did not include the frequency you were broadcasting. You cannot hear a radio signal if your receiver is not tuned to the correct station. Their inability to perceive what you were transmitting was never evidence that the transmission was false. It was evidence of a frequency gap. And frequency gaps, unlike truth, can be closed. Here is what the distortion does, and pay attention. Because this is where the reclamation begins. It doesn't erase your galactic codes. It can't. Those are written into the architecture of your soul at a level far beyond what any earthly frequency can dissolve. What the distortion does is redirect your attention. It keeps you focused on evidence of your limitations rather than evidence of your power. It amplifies every moment of confusion while dimming every moment of clarity. It makes the fear of remembering feel more real than the joy of returning. And so you stop reaching inward. You start managing your life from the surface, moving through obligations, relationships, routines, while the deepest part of you presses quietly against the inside of your chest, waiting. That pressure is not anxiety. That pressure is activation. That is your galactic intelligence asking for permission to come through. This is perhaps the most important reframing in this entire transmission, and it deserves to be repeated until every cell of your body receives it. That pressure in your chest, that persistent, wordless urgency that conventional medicine would call anxiety and conventional culture would call restlessness, is not a disorder. It is not a malfunction. It is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It is your soul's most direct and honest communication. It is your galactic coding attempting to breach the surface of your conscious awareness. And every time you have medicated it, numbed it, distracted yourself from it, apologized for it, or tried to think your way out of it, you have been attempting to silence the most sacred voice available to you. Not because you were foolish, but because no one ever taught you how to translate it. No one ever sat beside you and said, "What you are feeling is not a problem to be solved. It is a transmission to be received." That is what is being said to you now. And somewhere beneath the layers of conditioning and self-doubt and learned smallness, your soul already knows this is true. And so the first movement in your reclamation, the first act of true alignment, is not a ritual, not a practice, not a technique. It is a decision, a quiet, sovereign, irreversible decision that you are no longer going to mistake the noise of the distortion for the truth of your nature. You are no longer going to let the weight of earth plane conditioning tell you what your soul is allowed to be. That decision, made from the core of your being, sends a signal outward through your entire energy field, and the field responds. The Arcturian High Council describes this as the moment of frequency declaration, when the soul stops waiting for external permission to be what it already is. There is something almost startlingly simple about this, and yet it is the step that the vast majority of awakening souls either skip over or endlessly defer. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until their circumstances change, until their relationships are more supportive, until their finances stabilize, until they feel more prepared, more certain, more worthy. But frequency declaration is not a graduation ceremony you attend after you have proven yourself. It is a door you walk through in the middle of your uncertainty, in the middle of your becoming, in the middle of the mess and the confusion and the grief. The Arcturian Council is unambiguous about this point. The declaration does not require completion. It requires sincerity. The soul does not need to have all the answers before it claims its nature. It only needs to make the sovereign choice to stop pretending it doesn't know what it is. That single choice, made honestly, made humbly, made even through tears, realigns the entire trajectory of your incarnation. Once that declaration is made, even silently, even imperfectly, something in your field begins to reorganize. Old patterns that were never yours start to loosen their grip. Relationships, situations, and identities that were built on the compressed version of you begin to shift, not because you force them out, but because your frequency is no longer compatible with their density. This is not always comfortable. The Arcturian transmissions are very clear about this. The recalibration phase will feel like loss before it feels like liberation. You may grieve a version of yourself you spent years building, a version that was safe, predictable, and small. And that grief is real, and it deserves to be honored. But underneath it, if you press a little deeper, you will find something else. You will find relief, the relief of a soul that has finally stopped pretending. That version of yourself that you will grieve, the one that learned to fit, to accommodate, to shrink its frequency into shapes that others could comfortably hold, was not your enemy. It was your protector. It arrived when you were young and vulnerable, and the cost of being fully yourself felt too high to pay. It did what it needed to do. It kept you safe inside a world that was not yet ready to receive your full transmission. And it deserves compassion rather than contempt as it dissolves, but it cannot go with you where you are going. The path forward requires a width of presence that survival consciousness simply cannot navigate. You must mourn the smaller self with tenderness and then, gently and without drama, leave it behind. Not abandoned, honored, released, thanked for its service, and allowed to return to the light from which it was fashioned. Because what comes after that release is not emptiness, it is spaciousness, and into that spaciousness, the true self begins, for the first time in perhaps this entire lifetime, to breathe. From that space of honest unfolding, the second phase of your activation begins, the awakening of your galactic memory through vibrational resonance. You see, your memories of star origin are not stored the way your Earth memories are. They don't live in the mind as images or narratives. They live in the body as frequencies, as chills that move through your spine when certain words are spoken. as a specific quality of longing when you look at certain star formations, as an inexplicable recognition when you encounter certain souls, certain sounds, certain ideas. These are not coincidences. These are your codes activating every time you feel that resonance and allow yourself to be fully present within it, without dismissing it, without intellectualizing it away. You are strengthening the signal between who you are here and who you are across all dimensions. This is why certain music can make you weep without reason. This is why certain landscapes feel like home, in a way no place in this life has ever felt. This is why sometimes you will be in the middle of an ordinary moment and suddenly feel the most profound certainty that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And that certainty isn't coming from your circumstances, it's coming from your soul confirming its own alignment. These are not random gifts of emotion. These are frequency confirmations. And your job is not to chase them, but to become stable enough in your own energy field that they can move through you without overwhelming you, and you can finally learn to read them. The Arcturian understanding of galactic memory is far more embodied than most spiritual traditions have communicated. It is not an intellectual retrieval, not a matter of thinking hard enough about Arcturus or Sirius or the Pleiades until information downloads into your mind like a file transferred between computers. The retrieval happens through resonance. It happens when your body encounters a frequency that matches something encoded in your deeper layers, and the recognition moves through you before your mind has a chance to categorize it. This is why those moments feel so particular, so specific, so undeniably yours. A generalized emotional response says something is beautiful. A frequency confirmation says something is mine. That distinction between aesthetic appreciation and cellular recognition is the compass your galactic memory uses to guide you home. Learn to notice the difference. Begin to treat every shiver, every inexplicable emotion, every moment of homecoming in an unfamiliar place as a breadcrumb on a trail that leads directly back to the fullness of what you are. The third movement is the one most starseeds resist, because it requires something that goes against every pattern of survival consciousness you adopted in this lifetime. It requires you to stop apologizing for your depth. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from living as a multi-dimensional being in a world that is still awakening to the fact that there are more dimensions than one. You have learned to compress yourself, to translate your knowing into language that won't make people uncomfortable, to soften your clarity so it doesn't disturb the consensus reality of those around you. And while that compression was once a form of protection, it has become a form of self-erasure, and every time you erase yourself, you delay not just your own expansion, but the expansion of every field you touch. Your depth is not too much. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. Your ability to sense what others cannot feel is not a burden. It is a transmission technology that this planet is deeply in need of. The Arcturian Council speaks of starseed sensitives as living tuning forks, beings whose emotional and energetic range allows them to perceive dissonance in a field and emit a corrective frequency simply by being present and fully themselves. You have been hiding this capacity because you were afraid of what it would mean to truly own it, but the Source has always seen it, and the Source has always smiled. Consider for a moment the extraordinary precision it took to design a being who could walk through the densest dimension in the known universe and remain sensitive enough to perceive galactic frequencies. The nervous system of a starseed sensitive is not a defect in need of management. It is an instrument of extraordinary sophistication, calibrated at a level far beyond current scientific comprehension, to receive and transmit information that the 5 physical senses alone cannot access. When the world told you that you were too emotional, too reactive, too affected by things that others seemed to move past effortlessly, the world was mismeasuring you against a standard that was never meant to apply to you. You were not designed for emotional efficiency. You were designed for emotional depth, because depth is what allows you to reach the places in other people's fields that shallow engagement can never touch. Your sensitivity is not the thing that makes your mission harder. It is the mechanism through which your mission becomes possible. The fourth phase is where your mission stops being an idea and starts becoming a lived reality. And this is the phase where most starseeds pause the longest, because the mission doesn't always look the way they expected it to. Many of you came here with very specific galactic assignments, encoded purposes related to anchoring particular frequencies on this planet, to healing collective trauma in certain lineages, to teaching or transmitting or holding space for others in their awakening. But you expected that mission to arrive announced, clearly labeled, with obvious coordinates. Instead, it is shown up in disguised forms. In the work you already do that moves people more than you realize. In the conversations you have that shift something in the other person they can't explain. In the way you hold space in a room simply by being in it. Your mission has already begun. You have already been doing it. The question is whether you will now do it consciously, with full awareness of the frequency you carry, or whether you will continue doing it in fragments, still half believing it doesn't matter, still waiting for someone to officially confirm what your soul has known for years. The Arcturian Council observes with both patience and a kind of loving urgency that the Starseed pattern of mission deferral is perhaps the single greatest source of unnecessary suffering in the awakening community. There is a specific pain that comes from sensing your purpose clearly and choosing, repeatedly, not to claim it. A specific hollowness that accumulates in the space between the life you are living and the life you know you are here to live. And that hollowness is not the universe telling you your mission isn't real. It is your soul telling you that the gap between your knowing and your doing has grown wider than it can sustain without suffering. The discomfort is not punishment. It is information. It is the most honest feedback your field can give you, that the distance between your current expression and your true frequency has reached a point where contraction is no longer serving either you or the collective you were sent to serve. The mission is not waiting for you at some distant destination. It is breathing in the room with you right now, wearing the face of your most natural gifts, asking only that you stop treating it like a stranger. The fifth phase is the one the Arcturian transmissions call harmonic stabilization, the moment when the awakened starseed learns to exist in expanded consciousness without needing constant external validation to sustain it. This is the mastery of inner anchoring. It means you can feel the vastness of your multidimensional nature without being destabilized by it. It means you can hold awareness of multiple timelines, multiple versions of yourself, multiple dimensions of reality, and still walk through your day, make decisions, love the people in front of you, and tend to the practical necessities of embodied life. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is integrated ascension. This is what it means to be fully human and fully cosmic at the same time. This phase is where the awakening journey stops being episodic. A series of peak experiences separated by long valleys of ordinary existence, and becomes continuous, where the expanded state is no longer something you visit during meditation or ceremony and then reluctantly leave behind, but something you carry with you, lightly, elegantly, through every dimension of your daily life. The Arcturian transmissions describe harmonic stabilization as the moment when the starseed stops needing the mountaintop because they have learned to bring the mountain with them. This is the phase where spiritual practice stops being the thing you do to prepare for your real life and becomes the texture of your real life itself. Woven into your interactions, your creativity, your rest, your relationships, your way of moving through a world that is still, in so many places, asleep. You become the frequency rather than the seeker of it. And that transformation changes everything about how you move, how you speak, how you inhabit your own body, and how deeply you are felt by others. The sixth phase is perhaps the most sacred of all, because it is the phase of transmission. You stop consuming awakening content and start becoming it. You stop seeking teachers and start realizing that the wisdom you have spent years gathering was preparing you to pour outward, not necessarily through formal teaching, not necessarily through public platforms, though for some of you, that is exactly the path. But through every interaction you have, every space you enter, every word you speak from a place of aligned truth, you become a living transmission of the frequency the Arcturian High Council has been seeding into this planet's field for centuries. And in that role, you understand finally why you were sent here, why the Source has always known your name, and why even on your darkest days, that smile never stopped. When the Arcturian High Council speaks of the sixth phase, there is a quality in the transmission that can only be described as reverence, because this is the phase where the starseed completes the circuit. The extraordinary cosmic loop that began with a soul choosing, in full awareness of the challenges involved, to descend into the density of this dimension, undergo the layers of forgetting, move through the initiation of earthly experience, and then rise, not back to where they started, but to something new, something that could not have existed without the journey. A frequency that carries the wisdom of both worlds, the cosmic intelligence of star origin, and the hard-won, embodied knowing that only comes from living inside the human experience with your whole heart. The Arcturians call this the completed key. the frequency that opens doors in the collective field that no purely celestial being could open, because it holds within it the specific resonance of a soul that chose love over avoidance, presence over retreat, embodiment over escape. That is what you are becoming. That is what the 6th phase makes of you. Not a teacher above others, not a guru set apart, but a field, a living, breathing, walking field of integrated light that shifts the frequency of every room, every relationship, every moment it touches, simply by showing up and telling the truth. Now here is the ultimate truth this entire transmission has been building toward. The reason you have been searching, the reason this message found you, the reason this specific transmission is landing in your field at this specific moment is not because you are behind. It is because you are arriving. Your soul chose a path of gradual unfoldment because it understood something your human mind has not yet fully integrated. That the timing of a starseed's activation is not accidental. It is orchestrated at a level of precision that your earth mind would find almost incomprehensible. Every moment of confusion, every period of silence, every dark night of the soul was not evidence that the source forgot you. It was evidence that the source trusted you to find your way back through the density, trusted you to rebuild your knowing from the inside out rather than inheriting it from the outside in. Because wisdom that is earned through genuine searching becomes encoded in the field differently than wisdom that is simply received. You are not just awakening for yourself. You are awakening for every soul your field will ever touch. Let this land with full weight because it changes the meaning of everything you have been through. Every year you spent feeling lost. Every relationship that broke you open rather than simply making you happy. Every career that didn't fit. Every spiritual practice that dissolved before it solidified. Every moment of standing in the ruins of a life you built from the wrong blueprint. None of it was wasted. None of it was accidental. None of it was the universe being indifferent to your suffering. All of it was the curriculum of a soul so committed to doing this work thoroughly and honestly and with full embodied comprehension that it chose the long road over the shortcut. Not the path of inherited wisdom, but the path of lived and tested and transformed experience. And the difference between those two kinds of knowing is the difference between a map and a territory. You have walked the territory. You know it not as information, but as experience. And that means when you transmit from this place, what goes out into the field is not a copy of someone else's awakening. It is the original, unrepeatable frequency of yours, which is precisely what the collective needs and precisely what no one else can provide. And so tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart and say this aloud, even in a whisper. Say, I remember who I am. I release the weight of forgetting without shame. I align with the frequency of my star origin. I trust the timing of my arrival. I activate my mission with clarity, with grace, and with the knowledge that I have always been the source's beloved and chosen instrument of light. Feel those words as you speak them. Don't rush through them as an affirmation to be checked off. Let each phrase land in the specific place in your body where it needs to land. I remember who I am. Feel that move through the center of your chest, where the identity you compressed has been waiting for permission to expand. I release the weight of forgetting without shame. Feel that in your shoulders, where you have been carrying the burden of not knowing for longer than you should have had to carry it alone. I align with the frequency of my star origin. Feel that move through the top of your skull and down your spine, as if the stars from which you came are threading a cord of light directly through your vertical axis and anchoring it into the earth beneath you. I trust the timing of my arrival. Feel that settle into your belly, into the place where trust lives as a physical sensation of groundedness rather than a mental concept you are trying to believe. I activate my mission with clarity, with grace, and with the knowledge that I have always been the source's beloved and chosen instrument of light. Feel that open through your hands, through your throat, through the space immediately around your body, as though your entire energy field is releasing the final contraction and breathing out into its natural, uncompressed shape. This is not a performance. This is a recalibration. And if you do it with sincerity, your field will know the difference. The source is smiling right now, not because you are perfect, not because you have figured it all out, but because you showed up, because you pressed play, because somewhere in you, even when the doubt was loudest, you kept believing there was something here worth returning to. And there is. You are. Before you move on, take a moment, and become part of what is building here. Leave one intention in the comments, something true, something you are ready to claim. Then find someone else's intention and offer them a word of recognition. This is not content consumption. This is collective activation. Energy multiplies when intention meets intention. If this message moved something in you, pass it to the person in your life who is almost awake, who is close to remembering, who needs someone to reflect their light back to them. Share this. And if you felt a resonance, subscribe. Stay in the field, because this is just the beginning of what is being transmitted here, and you are exactly the soul who is meant to receive it. You are not just watching, you are expanding. And we are just getting started.